Hey, this is Jan Cavelle, author of Start for Success. And if you really want to learn how to level up your life, you should be listening to the Time to Shine Today podcast with my good friend Scott Ferguson. Let's level up.
Time to Shine Today podcast Varsity Squad. I hope you're ready for a fun conversation with my good friend Jan Cavelle from on the other side of the pond. She's in the UK. I'm not going to spoil too much of it for you, but she's a single mom that started at her kitchen table and scaled a business to multi-million-dollar turnover. I immensely respect Jan. She's helped me so much with her book that she has, Start for Success, and she can help you as well. There is a book giveaway, so make sure you listen towards the end because I'm buying 5 free copies of her book to mail out as gifts to you, my passionate, awesome sauce listeners. So make sure you break out your notebooks, our digital note takers, especially if you're an entrepreneur looking to build a business, or maybe you're even struggling, because Jan is the epitome of perseverance. So if you like the episode, please like it, subscribe, all that jazz, because it really helps out with my sponsors and affiliates. So without further ado, here's my good friend, consultant, business builder, author, just a level up human being, Jan Cavelle. Let's level up. Time to Shine Today podcast Varsity Squad. This is Scott Ferguson. I am blessed to bring my beautiful friend Jan Cavelle on from she's across the pond over in the United Kingdom, which is a great place to visit. It's probably maybe a little bit cold there with it being kind of close to the English Channel and, you know, just this time of the year and whatnot. But Jan's a fantastic author. There's going to be a good a book giveaway at the end, but you have to stay on to the end, which I will purchase on Time to Shine Today's dime. But, you know, Jan is an entrepreneur from the United Kingdom, as I said, who has a few decades, which looking at her, couldn't believe that, but a few decades of running entrepreneurial business behind her. One, she started from her kitchen table when her children were small and she was a single mother, to go on to build that into a multi-million turnover business. She also promotes entrepreneurship through campaigns, various, and her books. And again, we're going to have a book giveaway at the end, so make sure you stay on. And the fantastic reads. I'm going to also put her author page, from Amazon in there for anybody that misses the boat on the free book, and so they can pick it up there. And Jan, thank you so much for coming on. Please introduce yourself to the Time to Shine Today podcast Varsity Squad. But first, what's your favorite color and why?
My favorite color and why, Scott? What a good question. Well, I seem to be rather fond of orange at the moment.
I was just going to say, it better be orange, lady. Love it. Love it. And let's talk a little bit about this kitchen table and how you launch things and how many kids do you have?
Two
kids, single mom, launching. I was basically raised kind of by a single mother for some point in my life. So I have mad respect for you. But let's talk a little bit about that.
It's very tough. Yeah. And they were only sort of 5 and 7 at the time. So we're talking small kids. Yeah. But, you know, they needed me. And, you know, it does sort of raise your parental mother bear, you know, somehow I'm going to do this.
Sure.
You know, so, but I never had grand designs of running a big business. You know, I've just started, as you say, you know, virtually on my kitchen table, on a shelf, actually, next door to the kitchen table. But
right. What kind of business was it, love?
Sorry.
What kind of business was it?
Well, originally when I started, I was buying and selling things because I thought that was very adaptable around the kids. You know, I just could work on the phone and buy things in, sell them on a regular basis to interior designers. But I ran into supply problems almost immediately. So I started in a very, very small way going into manufacturing.
Really?
And that's where it grew because from, you know, a friend working in a corner of a barn, it went up to 2 factories in the end.
Wow. What kind of product was it?
Furniture.
Really? Okay. Yeah. And did you go all in on this, or was it a side hustle at first?
At first it was, I mean, it certainly had to be our only income. We moved a bit in time from me being on income support because, you know, it was one of those divorces and one thing and another. So
Sorry,
I went to the government. They wouldn't be this flexible in this day and age. I'm sure they wouldn't over with you either, but they certainly wouldn't here.
right.
And I just went and I said, I don't want to do this forever. I don't want to be on support forever. I want to start a business. Will you prop me up and give me some cash to keep me going? And they gave me a tiny amount every week, which was just enough
Wow.
to keep things ticking over.
Wow. So I gotta ask you, like, why didn't you quit?
Why did I quit?
Why didn't you quit?
Why did I quit?
Didn't,
Well,
didn't, didn't.
it's a big question. Yeah, that's a long leap from a kitchen table to quitting.
Right.
And that's one of the reasons. I mean, I was in that business for 20 odd years.
Wow.
So, or near on. So the children had left home. So that drive and reason behind it had gone. And, that's a big thing. If you're working towards your purpose, your vision, be
Yeah.
it a big business one or a personal one, which it was in my case, suddenly when that goes, you're thinking, why am I doing this every morning? And you tell yourself because you ought to, and it's sensible and all these things. And of course, it's not quite enough to
Sure.
keep you going. So that was one of the reasons. Another was I was getting very burnt out, and
Okay.
I swung from thinking I'm going to sell this, I've had enough, to be sensible, pull yourself together and
Right.
keep going. And so I'd go out there and look for a buyer, get a buyer, and then panic at the last moment. It must have annoyed so many people, and go, sorry, I've changed my mind. I'm going to stay in for a bit.
Right.
And I turned down some good offers for it, ironically.
Mm.
But which, one particularly, where I occasionally kicked myself looking at the bank balance. But then came a day and I thought, no, enough. And I
Done.
virtually walked overnight.
Wow. And what was the biggest obstacle growing that business? I understand the manufacturing, but outside of that, what was one of the roadblocks where you almost quit?
I love that because you say you understand manufacturing and people don't. It's really tough.
Right.
I think there was I think I would say it's difficult. I'm struggling to pick one, as you can hear. Apologies for the
You're
stutters.
fine. You're
But I
fine.
think the biggest one really was the fact that I started from a position of extreme ignorance. And I mean, I knew nothing about business on that kitchen table, absolutely zero. So what I had learned was all along the way. And after the kids had left and everything, so sort of 3/4 way into the business lifetime, I was thinking, I need to find out more about how this ought to be done. So
Sure.
I started going on a whole load of courses, and I could see very clearly things I'd got right and things I'd got wrong.
Mm.
And 15 years into a business, it's very tricky to unpick because so much is set in stone. And I'd
Yes.
come back from the courses, come back from London and go, I know what needs doing. And fired up to put it right because I could see it.
Right.
And meet some obstacle that was just insurmountable. There were the 10-year leases on the factories we were tied
Sure.
into when the buildings weren't right for us, things like that.
Right.
And it was just, you could see it wasn't going to really happen. It was always going to be a fight,
Sure.
because foundations weren't always quite good enough.
Sure. Absolutely. So, what do you think people that are working towards their own startup, what do you think their biggest blind spot is?
I think I do. I think the biggest blind spot is that you think, and it is hard work, you think it's all about hard work. And so you put everything into that and you overlook that you actually need to be valued. You need to spend time and possibly money on developing you, because your business will only develop as much as you do.
Oh my gosh, that is gold. Wow. Wow. That's yeah, because everything is a reflection of, you coming back, but you've got to take care of you.
Yeah.
Right? Oh my gosh, that's just pure fire. That's gold. That's beautiful. So with people, do you help people with startups, Jan?
I do now. Well, I did to some extent back then. I got involved in campaigns to encourage enterprises. I think you mentioned very kindly at the beginning, and I loved it. I got asked to be on one for the UK government in working in the EU, and then got asked by after that it sort of spins off and you get pulled in by unis and schools and business groups, and I found it so rewarding that. But of course, there was only limited time to do it. And initially, when I came out of that business, I wasn't worth talking to. I just needed time. But then when I got into writing and started regenerating a new me, shall we say, I thought, actually, there's still things I can do. There are people who I can help. And hopefully, most of all, my writing will help people.
Yeah. With that being said, when maybe someone comes up to you and I'm sure if you speak or you're promoting your book, they have a lot of questions and whatnot. But is there one question that you wish people would ask you but never do?
Wow, such good questions you're asking. What do I wish they asked? I think probably I will go for what's it really truly like being an entrepreneur, because unless you've done it, you don't get it. It's full of misconceptions.
That's so beautiful you said that, because people don't realize about being an entrepreneur. I've been, I served in the military for 7 years, but then I could not stand having to answer to people. But one thing I've realized about entrepreneurship, and I know you can attest to this even more than me, that we wake up every day unemployed, which means when we wake up, we have to find someone to interview us to buy that furniture, right? Or to whatever service that you have. But the thing is for a lack of a better term, I get off on that. I love it now. If I had to punch a clock, I would be worthless, right? But I love that. And the grind and the hunt. That's one thing people, I wish they'd ask me is like, listen, you have to wake up every day, the lion or the gazelle, because when the sun rises, we both better be running, right?
Absolutely.
We wake up that way. So have you seen the movie? It's an American movie, but have you seen the movie Back to the Future?
Yeah, many years ago.
Okay, right.
Yes.
It's almost 40 years ago. I mean, I'm 50 now, so it was like I was, I don't know, about 12 when it came out. But let's get in that DeLorean with Marty McFly. Let's go back to the Double Deuce, the 22-year-old Jan. What kind of knowledge nuggets might you drop on her? That's what we call them here at Time Shine Day. What kind of knowledge would you drop on her to maybe help her, not so much change too much, but to maybe help her shorten her learning curve or blast through maybe just a little bit quicker?
I think always now I really emphasize being yourself, being authentically you, going for your own passions and goals, and not worrying about other people.
Oh my gosh.
And not worrying about failure.
That's beautiful. It's funny. I make 2 New Year's resolutions every year, right? Since 2009, because that's when the market crashed and everybody kind of lost everything here in the United States, right? But I make 2 New Year's resolutions. One, make someone smile every day, right?
That's lovely.
I just got you. All right, awesome. 2, unless I've hurt you, disrespected you, or stole from you or something negative, I give 0 what about what you think about me. And so thank you for saying that, because when you're going to launch something that has your name on it, it must be authentic and have that thick ass skin, right? Which I'm sure as a single mom, your skin must have been thick. And I think I misphrased the question earlier, but why didn't you quit when you started it?
Good question. Yeah, that's another good question. I think For many years, I loved that business with the passion that we do love our businesses
Sure.
with, and I would joke they'll have to carry me out of here, and
Right.
it never occurred to me that I would want anything else. And so in some ways it was, well, why don't I love it anymore? It came as a shock that
Yeah.
I could possibly ever want anything else.
Right. When that steps out of your why, it's time to get out. That's the way that I
Yeah.
really feel. I'm
Yeah.
the same way. I was a real estate broker for 23 years and a pretty damn good one. But I was like, I don't want to step away. It's like real estate to me is like my high school girlfriend, right?
Yeah.
I love her. I'll always be in love with her in a sense, not romantic love. She's my first, if you know what I mean, right?
Yeah, I do.
So it's like, but you'll always be fond of it. But my mentor, my coaches said, all right, let's build you a team. So they run it so you can still stay close to it, but you can build your coaching business, for the last 13 years and stuff. So I love that. So how do you want your dash remembered? That little line in between your incarnation date and your expiration date, your life date and death date. Hopefully it's way down the road. But how does Jan want her dash remembered?
I think because it was always my childhood dream, if somebody puts that tag author underneath there, I would go happy.
So I'm sorry, what were you saying?
I was saying because it was such an obsessional childhood dream all my life to become one. I think if somebody put the word author underneath there, I would probably be happy.
Wow, that's beautiful. Yeah, I'm sure somebody will. And again, hopefully it's way down the road because you have so much to share with this world. So, Jan, what do you think people misunderstand the most about you?
About me? I think...
I like how you answer that. About me. I love it. I love it.
Yeah. Wow. What do they misunderstand? I think some people find the fact that I am so straight down the line and I am 100% authentic off-putting, or it throws them out. I think they're used to... most people are much more genuine, and I've been much more genuine, much not less genuine, but more so, possibly more socially acclaimed. I don't know,
Right.
But I will just put it out there and hope that I can be of service, and sometimes that comes over as too direct, I guess.
No, I can see that. Especially and you, to me, you get a pass because what I mean by that is I don't use the word excuses, but you have a reason to come off that. When you raise two kids from a kitchen table on government assistance, going after your why, it's like that can be intimidating on down the road, especially and there's no negative connotations to women, but females. You see a strong female, sometimes it can be off-putting. But I can see that. But I think that when you and I meet, hopefully one day, we'll give each other a big hug and laugh and go have a pint or something,
That would be lovely.
That'd be great. So what, if anything, keeps you up at night?
What? Sorry, Scott.
What if anything keeps you up at night?
What if anything keeps me up at night? No. I still have a passion to do so much, There's not enough hours in the day.
Right. What is the next step for you? I know you have the books and you're helping people. Is there anything on the horizon that you're like, oh shit, I still want to do that?
Oh, I get fired up still. I get ideas, and the entrepreneur is still alive, and there's spin-offs, and we had a couple of great events for just tiny ones, but virtual events for the launch of my book, and that was such fun. And a lot of people were saying, when are the next events? Well, are you going to do a big one?
Wow.
And I'm thinking, so but just there's a lot of spin-off already from this book.
That's beautiful.
Actually. And so I don't know where it's going to take me, but isn't that exciting when life gets like that?
It's beautiful. When you know your why, that whatever way the journey goes, like even in my coaching business, a lot of people, I have goals. I'm like, where's your vision?
Yeah.
I mean, visions, you can laterally think. Your vision's your why. Your goals just kind of help reach that. And I love that you're not done. That's what I love about this. This is awesome. So give me something in the past year that's $100 or less that you've purchased that's really surprisingly leveled you up?
A new pair of headphones, but it does help to be able to hear.
Yeah.
Should be one. I mean, I read so
It can be
much.
more.
I'm trying to pick something recently that I've bought, because I know that we discussed books and
it could be a book, love. If you picked up something the past year that just rocked
I
your
haven't
world.
purchased it recently, but I mean, I reread some of my favorite business books. I mean, The Why of Mr. Sinek is obviously one of them. But for example, some of my favorites, I get fascinated by teamwork, and I love Pat Lencioni. Is he Lencioni or Lencioni?
Yeah, I love his parables. I love his business parables. Beautiful.
But yeah,
that's awesome. So, Jan, what would be your definition of a life well lived?
Going for it, I think.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Time to Shine Today podcast Varsity Squad. We are back. And Jan, I was serious. I'd really love to, meet you one day and whatnot. And I'm sure these questions, we'll talk 15, 20 minutes about a lot of them. But today you have 5 seconds with no explanations, and they can all be answered that way. You ready to level up?
Okay.
Let's do it. What's the best leveling up advice Jan has ever received?
I think probably to do this latest book, actually. I went to my son, because they're slightly bigger now, my two. And, and I was going, shall I, shan't I?
You got to keep it short, Jan.
Sorry.
You got to keep it short. No worries.
Do this book.
Love it.
From my son.
Share one of your personal habits that contributes to your success.
People don't like it, but I'm afraid it's hard work. You need to work hard for success.
When you text, what is your most commonly used emoji, if any, when you text?
I'm not a great emoji.
Good.
Shows
No
my
problem.
age, I know.
No problem. Chess, checkers, or Monopoly?
Probably I'm bad at chess. I'm going to have to play safe and say Monopoly.
Beautiful. Go-to ice cream flavor?
Pistachio.
All right. Good. How about nicknames growing up?
Oh, goodness. This is going to confuse you. I had so many because I was very briefly, but I was an acting family. And my mother, it had us all play characters all day. So it was pretty weird. And one moment I was Oliver from Oliver Twist, and the next moment I'd be something else.
I love it. Let's build a sandwich. The Jan Cavelle sandwich. What would be on that sandwich?
Oh, mayo. I'm a bad mayo fan.
And me too.
I think a good chicken, lettuce, and mayo takes a lot of eating.
Perfect. Love it. Favorite charity and or organization you'd like to give your time or money to?
I give my money to a homeless charity around here. Nobody knows that, actually, but anyway, especially for you.
Thank you so much. And last question, but what's the best decade of music? 60s, 70s, 80s, or 90s?
Must I pick? I love music from all genres. I'm a hopeless, non-selective music lover.
Okay, very good. We'll just leave it at that. That's beautiful. So, Jan, how can we find you, my friend?
You can find me via my website, which is www.jancavelle.co.uk.
Excellent. And I'll put that in the show notes as well. But tell us a little bit about your new book here, Start for Success, The Entrepreneur's Guide to Startups.
My new book it comes out of a history we've been talking about my learning for how important good foundations are, and also to help people understand what entrepreneurship is all about. And so I wanted a book that was really representational of entrepreneurship, not some sort of puff piece that somebody's never run a business. And I don't mean that rudely. Some of them are really good, some of them are not. But so it's full of information that you need, hopefully, and I think it probably is, but also it's contextualized by stories from loads of entrepreneurs around the world. So if I'm saying something about values or something, I'll have a couple of stories precisely from real-time entrepreneurs.
That's beautiful.
Showing what they've changed in their business about them, which I think makes hopefully entertaining reading as well as useful reading.
I love it. And I'm hoping that one day, because of your story, that your background, that, I know you like Peter Lasciani and like his books, the business parable type. I hope you write one day. I really do, because I think that you would be able to relate with somebody on the hero's journey. You know how Peter does in all of his books with regards to like how this salesperson's about
Absolutely.
to lose.
Yeah.
I would love to read one by you.
I just realized he's probably influenced my writing because of that. I hadn't.
He's influenced mine, hon. 100%.
Yeah.
I love that. I love it. When you said that, I was like, finally, I have a kindred spirit out there. That's beautiful. Yeah. So do me one last favor and leave our squad of listeners. Oh, I'm sorry, squad. I just remembered, Donnie. Thank you. The first person that puts Hastings in any of our social media, I'll know you've listened to the beginning to the end. I will personally buy a book of Jan's Startup for Success and have it mailed to you. So first person that Hastings, I don't care if it's Pinterest, Instagram, Twitter, whatever, put Hastings in there, then I'll know that you've listened and we'll send that book out to you. But Jan, do me one last solid and leave us with one last knowledge nugget that we can take with us, internalize, and take action on.
Whatever you've been dreaming of, go for it. Take an action on it today.
I love it. And squad, we had really a fun discussion, but also kind of a masterclass by someone that was given just enough by her government to get by. But she did not make excuses. She made adjustments and built a business that was worth millions or is worth millions. She wants you to remember to always work towards your vision and know your why. And if you don't know how, get your asking gear. If the passion's there, you get your asking gear. Ask somebody, and people are more than willing to point you in the right direction if they really care, if they're coming from a good go-giver heart. She wants you to remember, never overlook being valued. And to start with that, you have to take care of you. The whole example of, if you're on a plane, put your mask on first so you can help others. Always take care of yourself. I believe my friend Jan does what she loves in the service of people that love what she does. Meaning she loves helping people. She loves being an author, and people love her for that. I know that I do. And that obsession of being an author, she's published fantastic books. And don't forget that book giveaway that I had out there. And I believe that Jan is planting trees she's probably never going to sit in the shade of because of her passion, what she did raising 2 kids, single mom, and still getting it done. Again, she didn't make excuses. She made adjustments. She wants you to go out there and do it scared. If you're scared, still do it. Yeah. And keep that momentum going. Jan, you're such a beautiful lady. You level up your health. You level up your wealth. You're humble, yet you're hungry still. And you've earned your varsity squad letter here at Time to Shine today. Thank you so much for coming on. I absolutely love your guts.
I am honored, humbled, delighted. Thank you.
You're very welcome. Chat soon.
Hey, thanks so much for listening to this episode of Time to Shine Today podcast, proudly brought to you by Sutter & Nugent Real Estate Excellence, who can be reached at 561-249-7266 and online at www.sutterandnugent.com. If you are a business owner or professional who would like to be interviewed on Time to Shine Today, please visit timetoshinetoday.com/guest. If you like this episode, please subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify, iHeartRadio, or wherever you get your podcasts. There's a link in the show notes to our website. Also there, you will see our recommended resources. We hope that you will support our show by supporting them. If you like what you've been listening to, it'd be great if you could just give us a 5-star rating and tell your friends how to subscribe while you're at it. I'm your host, Scott Ferguson, and until next time, let's level up. It's our time to shine.